Welcome back to Invest Global. Today we're continuing on with our Launchpad ecosystem series where we discuss all the different blockchain networks and all the different launchpads that allow you to get in on early stage blockchain or altcoin projects. Now, recently we've been focusing just specifically on the Solana ecosystem. We've talked about Radium, we've talked about Solstarter, we've talked about Solanium, and we're wrapping it up here with SOLPAD. Now, all of these have their own different pros and cons, right? Just like all the different blockchain ecosystems have their own pros and cons, right? So Solana versus Binance, or Solana versus Ethereum, or Ethereum versus Cardano, or Cardano versus Polkadot, right? You have to kind of contrast what are the pros, what are the cons, what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses of each of these ecosystems. And inside each of these ecosystems, launchpads are what are very interesting to me. Obviously, I also like projects that are focusing on being Oracle projects, decentralized exchanges, and lending projects. I'm also relatively interested in some projects that are doing privacy-focused coins, just because I spend a lot of my time in emerging markets, specifically like today. For example, I was here in Yerevan, Armenia. I'm only spending a little bit of time here after spending about a month in Tbilisi, Georgia. So I'm heading to Ukraine in, 2 days from now. It's very interesting as far as privacy coins go and blockchain goes, because in these markets, I'm always meeting at banks. I'm going, okay, can I set up a bank account here? People call this offshore banking. I prefer to just call it like international banking. But essentially, you have a lot of hoops to jump through. But with crypto, it's plug and play, plug and play. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what your name is, doesn't matter your religion. Especially if a project is truly decentralized, there is no KYC. So know your customers versus you go to a bank account and it's literally the antithesis, right? So that's kind of my just thoughts on the daily before we get into this. But let's hop into it. So essentially, I'm going to be discussing all different things here on a SOLPAD, very, very early stage launchpad, similar to Solanium and Solstarter. I would say, as far as most developed goes, I would say you have Radium, you have Solanium, then Solstarter still hasn't even really launched yet. Truly like their SOS token, but here the SOLPAD token is actually live, so we'll be talking about that. And they also have their actual first IDO here, which is quite interesting on the Medium. Always check out the official link. So every single video I do, I always have the links down below in the description for. I'm gonna turn my brightness down here. Link down below in the description, so everyone make sure they're on the official, because again, with this blockchain ecosystem, crypto, whatever you want to call it, there's so many scams out there, so many people trying to get your money by getting you on some scammy site that might have like one letter difference, and you end up going on a decentralized exchange or decentralized application like here on the actual SOLPAD app, Dapp, right? You can get completely screwed because again, nobody's holding your hand. It's your own responsibility. That's the whole thing about this, and I love that, right? It's kind of a double-edged sword. If you don't know how to use it, you're probably gonna get destroyed. If you know how to use it, there's a lot of advantages there. So anyways, wrapping things up for the intro, basically SOLPAD describes themselves as the first multi-chain IDO platform for Solana. So the thing is, Solstarter describes themselves as the first launchpad for Solana, but then you see things like Solanium and Radium, and it's like, okay, are they really the first? Now, what I like about SOLPAD specifically is they're multi-chain, right? So maybe they could launch a project on the Cardano ecosystem. Maybe they could launch projects in the, let's say, Terra Luna ecosystem, right? So pick any different kind of alternative blockchain ecosystem, being able to not just be stuck in your own, like Polkastarter, for example. They specifically focus on launching Polkadot ecosystem Launchpad altcoins, right? Versus with SOLPAD, I think this could be an interesting play. But again, you have to recognize that they haven't actually successfully launched anything yet. So that's always something you have to keep in mind when you're doing your research. I have the video for my how to do your research linked down below in the description, walking you through fundamental, technical, sentimental, and on-chain analysis. You can see here, I think it's just starting to rain here in Yerevan. You can see here the first Launchpad project, they just announced this 22 hours ago, will be MetaSeer. Okay, so this is focusing on like hybrid options market, insurance, and platform as a service. So back here, it's a very, very simple website, nothing too fancy, nothing like Solanium has or Radium has, right, where there's tons of links up here. Typically see that. It's very straight, very to the point. You can see they're focusing on bringing new projects, so I do like to see that, where bringing new projects to actually apply for an initial DEX offering, an IDO. They have a great series with that, which is on their Medium page, which basically walks you through how all these different things work. That's why I highly recommend this. If any project doesn't have a ton of info on their website, the good thing is they have it linked right here, right? So this is their Medium, this is Telegram, which I always like to tell people for sentimental analysis, look at the Telegram group, look at the engagement. Is it a bunch of scammers, or are they having thoughtful conversations there? Check out their Twitter, so go follow them, SOLPAD, Finance SOLPAD, I'll follow them too. At Finance SOLPAD, I'll have this link down below in the description. Also follow us at investglobal_IO. But to really get into the meat of the situation, like I said, they don't have a ton of info on here, to be quite honest, on the project. They have kind of that one-liner there. How they're multi-platforms. They describe themselves as being able to bring projects in, raise capital for them in a decentralized manner. And it's built on Solana. You can see their team here. So Rayan Hoshine, you can see Chief Executive Officer, Chief Technology Officer is Abdel Hamid, and the CMO is Julian. Okay, so you can check out all their LinkedIn's there and their backgrounds. You can also see their the ventures here. So they have nice backing. Let's see, Moonwell is great, X21 is great, Nod Seeds is great. So interesting, and Black Mamba, yeah. So these are commonly seen investors in early stage projects that I see that are actual quality. So here is their actual decentralized application. But before we get into their actual Launchpad, which, by the way, if you go into their Launchpad, it's not actually there yet, right? So it says coming soon. The main feature right now of the decentralized application, again, you have to understand this is early stage, is basically just like a fork of Uniswap, right? All these different decentralized exchanges have this very, very basic layout where you connect your wallet, set up your Web3 wallet. In this case, it would be like a Solid, which if you don't know how to use the Solana ecosystem wallet, which is Solid, just let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to do a tutorial video on that. But you can basically see you connect that up here. You can switch between Sol, whatever it is. You can also see the liquidity here, so you can add liquidity and gain passive income as far as that goes. They did have an airdrop, but that's already over, right? So that's important to understand. And then here on the Medium, what I wanted to focus on was this, because I always talk about this in these different Launchpad ecosystem series, which actually I already have this pulled up, is their actual tier structure breakdown. So I like to see this. Basically, they say, here at SOLPAD, we simplify the entry into decentralized finance by providing a comprehensive token launching platform. We're able to accomplish this by offering a more diverse range of products under our SOLPAD token. So our products include, I'll maybe follow my face down, maybe I won't. So basically, they have the automated market maker DEX. They have the multi-chain wallets. At least they're working on it. But the Launchpad is what essentially is kicking off, right, with this first project, this first IDO. You can see this pooled structure, similar with a lot of them. Essentially, one thing that I always look for is, okay, what is the allocation? What's the minimum you need staked? So, for example, Seaweed, you would only need to hold 20,000 SOLPAD tokens. So you can see that there. If we do, let's just take this here and we'll go to calculator real quick, just because I don't want to do the math on the fly. So let's go here. Let's pop this in. So what was it? 20,000 SOLPAD tokens. The token's around 0.008 cents. So let's just go here to 20,000 and multiply that by 0.008 cents. I know some people complain, like, what's the minimum I need? $160, tiny, especially for an early stage project. So it is interesting. It reminds me of one of those Launchpad projects. I think it was Polystarter. Wow, just saw some lightning here. Yerevan, beautiful window I here have in the hotel, and it's of kind of like the main hill in the city, just massive lightning strike. But anyways, Polystarter was quite interesting because you needed a very, very small amount, but it was still early stage. Similar with this, I mean, $160 is literally, obviously it's in the SOLPAD token. You can see this token's retraced quite significantly, as has everything. But since that launch there, I think it was that airdrop on the 16th of June, it's retraced quite far. It had this little bump, I think, in anticipation of this new launch here. So their actual new launch here, Metaseer, it had a little bump up in anticipation of that. At least that's what I would say. Seaweed, so again, 20,000 SOLPAD tokens. Keep in mind it's 0.008 cents. To share a total pool weight in the allocation of approximately 4% among themselves. So you have to understand, again, allocation, lottery. In this case, from what I understand, they're not doing a lottery. Basically, on wherever there would be a breakdown in whatever Launchpad ecosystem series that I've done, I always talk about this because essentially getting into these early stage projects, that's the key of a Launchpads, right? You have the private market in the traditional finance space where you have only accredited investors are able to access private companies versus in this space, we have incredible things like Launchpads where you only need a small amount of capital to access early stage Launchpad project. So you can see it here, the breakdown, but I just want to show you that that's kind of the first one. And again, it is a guaranteed allocation. So then you have shrimp, especially when you can contrast, especially with something like Card Starter, which I would say is still relatively early, especially when you take into account that the Cardano ecosystem hasn't even fully developed yet. Well, with that, it's like the minimum you need is 2,500, and that's for a 10% lottery allocation. You contrast that with SOLPAD, $160. And obviously, it's relative to you have 4% pool weight split along everyone else in that market. Then it goes up to a shrimp, seaweed to shrimp. Those who hold at least 60,000 SOLPAD tokens will be allocated. So not that much higher, right? So do a 3x on that. So still under $500. And then you go to 100,000 pad tokens. You have the crab, and then shark is let's see, 180,000, and you have 27% allocation. Then the whale, fitting in the crypto space, call this a whale, 280,000 SOLPAD tokens, and that is 48%. So you see this. So each participant has to go through the whitelist process. If you've not made it here, so again, that's the beautiful thing, the lottery and the whitelist is technically closed. So I did talk about some of these things in the past. I hope you are able to access some of this. But yeah, that's basically all for this video. Reach out to the team if you have any questions. Reach out to the SOLPAD Telegram. Also, as I said, follow them here on Twitter at FinanceSOLPAD. Lastly, the SOLPAD token here. We talked about the price, but very, very small amount of people actually like this token, so keep that in mind. 653 people like this. I always recommend check out the contract on whatever Explorer it is. So if it's Binance Smart Chain, BSC Explorer. If it's Ethereum, ERC20 Explorer, ETH Explorer. Here it's the actual Solana Explorer. I think it's like, yeah, explorer.solana.com. Market cap is unknown, daily volume is tiny, so be very, very careful. But again, I mean, if you can use a token like this to get in early on a project, hey, it's an interesting opportunity, right? At least just to consider it. That's basically all for this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Also, you can join the Telegram group, our Telegram group, the Invest Global Telegram group, link down below in the description. As always, Invest Global. If you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe to the channel, stay up to date, hit the notification bell, click all. Also, the Launchpad full series playlist is down below in the description with all the other links. That's all for this one. Again, Invest Global, and until next time.